The system grants you endless power, but there's one thing it lacks: cultivation talent. Left with no choice, you hide away in a remote mountain, secretly developing your strength. You understand the system's hidden intention: if you outlast all the cultivators, you will become invincible in the world. But after 10,000 years, not only have cultivators not diminished, but they've grown even more prosperous. You watch as peerless experts rise one after another, and you can't help but suspect that the system may have deceived you. Just as you feel desperate, a prompt suddenly rings out in your mind: ding dong, system activated successfully. Congratulations, host, you have gained supreme cultivation. The moment the voice fades, the heavens shake, the earth cracks, and the entire true martial spirit realm is reduced to basic particles. Under the impact of the spiritual energy storm, you leap to the peak of the immortal realm. Before you can even familiarize yourself with the terrifying power inside you, two suspicious figures appear outside the forbidden area. Is this the forbidden land of the Kyoxian sect? The old man in black robes asks coldly. The young man responds obsequiously, yes, senior, this is the forbidden land set up by the sect's great elder. Since his passing, no one has dared to enter. It's said that whenever the great elder came out from here, he would be smiling with youth restored, so there must be some mystery within. The old man grins greedily. The Kyoxian sect has long since fallen. Now, there is only a young sect master and an elderly elder barely hanging on. Since no one can stop us, the secrets of this forbidden land will be ours. The moment they step into the forbidden land, your inspection function activates. Name: Roadman A. Cultivation: Yellow Path Realm. Character evaluation: low character, excessively greedy, rose to power through underhanded means. Name: Xiaoyu. Cultivation: Spirit Transformation Realm. Character evaluation: talented but immoral, has repeatedly betrayed the sect. Upon learning the details about these two, your expression turns cold. A mere Yellow Path Realm dares to act recklessly in the Kyoxian sect. You recall the events from 5,000 years ago when you first crossed over, with no cultivation and nearly starving to death in the wilderness. Fortunately, you encountered the Kyoxian sect's great elder, who not only took you in but also arranged for you to live in the sect, treating you like his own grandson. However, he passed away prematurely. The great elder's kindness was as vast as the sky and earth. In this life, you will never allow anyone to slander or harm the Kyoxian sect. With this in mind, you flash out, heading straight for the cave entrance. At that moment, the two are trying to break the formation of the forbidden land. Suddenly, with a boom, Xiaoyu's body bursts apart, blood and flesh splattering, causing Roadman A to be scared out of his wits. "Who is there? Who is it?" Roadman A shouts in a furious yet trembling voice. You slowly walk out from the cave, speaking coldly: betraying the sect and letting in wolves, this is punishable by death. Roadman A, panic-stricken, forces himself to remain calm. "Who are you? How dare you attack me?" You sneer, instantly appearing in front of him. A spiritual hand grips his throat, rendering him powerless to resist. "You don't need to know who I am. Just answer my questions." Roadman A struggles desperately but finally writes in the air with his spiritual energy: "Senior, please spare me. I'll tell you everything, I'll leave nothing out." You release your grip, and he collapses to the ground, kowtowing repeatedly. "Senior, what do you wish to know?" You ask indifferently. "What is the current state of the Kyoxian sect?" Roadman A's heart skips a beat. Could this person be an elder of the Kyoxian sect? If he knows the sect has been attacked, it could lead to disaster. In the blink of an eye, he comes up with an idea. "With me, I will stabilize him first. After the Xianqiu sect is destroyed, we will mobilize the seniors in the sect to kill this man." Thinking of this, Passerby A smiled evilly in his heart, but said flatteringly on his face, "Senior, that would take a long time to say. In this case, you are useless." While you were talking, the spiritual power palm that just disappeared appeared again at the neck of Passerby A. "Senior, don't want me to speak briefly?" Passerby A hurriedly begged for mercy. "Unfortunately, you won't give him a second chance." Before he finished speaking, Passerby A was also squeezed into a ball of blood mist. "No need. Instead of listening to you fooling me here, I think it would be better to go to those people outside the asking palace. Now you have reached the peak of the immortal realm of the world. The gap between you and passerby is like the gap between heaven and earth. His little thoughts can naturally be detected. And while asking passerby, you have released your own spiritual stone, passed through the forbidden area, and enveloped the entire prison immortal. 5,000 years ago, the blissful immortal emperor was still a school of immortal caves. Now it is a ruin. There are many beautiful women, all dressed up in groups, fighting for some rare treasures. Especially outside the main hall of the Seeking Immortal sect, the Asking Palace, there are thousands of cultivators with fierce eyes, staring at them covetously. Seeing all this, you clenched your fists and felt angry. I want to see who has the courage to attack the Seeking Immortal sect. In your anger, you generate an endless murderous aura, causing the world to make strange noises and heavy snow to fall. At the same time, in the Asking Palace, who would have thought that the once famous the Saint sect is now deserted? Only a young leader who is less than 20 years old and an old elder Huangdeajing are left. They are struggling to hold on. Seeing thousands of cultivators filling the Wendao Palace, sect leader Chu Tianxi couldn't help but sigh. Is it really God's will to destroy the Wendao sect? You are right. Today, the Wendao sect will be killed. At this time, a loud shout came from outside. The hall was shaken. It was the most respected and powerful Wendao. Thousands of cultivators outside the palace saw this person and were immediately surprised. It's me. The ninth elder in the thunder. Tomorrow Thunder Lord. Lei Hong followed. Thousands of strong men came with their luggage to see Tomorrow Thunder Lord. Hearing his name, elderly Yu's heart was immediately filled with anger. He cursed the man in the sky. 800 years ago, you sneaked into my sect and stole my sect's supreme thunder technique. Today, you dare to come here. The treasures of heaven and earth belong to those who are capable. The techniques are no exception. No one in your Kaiuxian sect can practice thunder techniques. Then naturally, those who are capable should practice them. I am just not. I just want to let the pearl be covered in dust. But, you are a villain. You are a bandit without knowing it. If it weren't for the Wuzong Lafa, you could also become a supreme and powerful person. Being humiliated by Rio in front of thousands of powerful people, Lei Hong was also a little embarrassed. He had a fierce look in his eyes and sneered. Then let me, a bandit, send Kaiuxian sect on its last journey. As he spoke, he pointed his sword to the sky. Thunder surged on the long sword, releasing extremely destructive waves. But just as Lei Hong chopped down the terrifying sword energy, he was surprised to find that the 9 thunder dragons in the sky actually stopped. No matter how Lei Hong controlled them, they could not move at all. What was going on? The sudden strange phenomenon puzzled Lei Hong and made the thousands of cultivators feel that something was wrong. Everyone raised their heads and saw that in the sky full of lightning, snow was actually falling. The next moment, an endless and terrifying murderous aura floated from afar, like a knife or an axe, hanging on every cultivator's magic sword. The Supreme also wanted to destroy our Seeking Immortal sect. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw you can't recover from the void. Who dares to interfere in my affairs? Looking at you who suddenly appeared, Lei Hong was crystal clear, but the sword in his hand did not stop. He swung the sword and drew a 100-foot-long thunder dragon, roaring towards you. This is enough to crush all the strong men below the supreme realm. Seeing that the thunder dragon is close at hand, you just raised your head calmly and stretched out 2 fingers. Stupid, even if you are in the same supreme realm, no one dares to catch my thunder dragon with bare hands. Lei Hong laughed wildly. Wait and see. You turned into ashes. That only means that you have seen too few strong men. You shook your head and sneered. You stretched out your hands and clapped them. The spiritual power in your body gushed out. It immediately turned into a giant palm holding up the sky. The upper finger reached the sky and the lower palm touched the ground. In front of this palm, the 100-foot thunder dragon was as small as an earthworm. With one palm, the thunder dragon collapsed in an instant and turned into thousands of lightning bolts that spread around. Thousands of fleeing monks around were unable to dodge. They were either hit by the drama leader or damaged by the lightning. In just a moment, the Taoist palace, there was no one alive outside. This scene frightened Lei Hong so much that he lost his soul. He no longer had the arrogance he had just now. He was about to breathe a sigh of relief, but when he turned around, he found that the spiritual power was already close to him. After a loud bang that shook the universe, there was no trace of Lei Hong in the world. Such a huge commotion naturally alarmed Liu and Chu Tianxi in the palace. The two walked out of the palace gate and happened to see Lei Hong being beaten into a pulp and dissipated between heaven and earth with the wind. Although they didn't understand what happened. But they knew. They were saved. Pray for the immortal sect to save them. The two hugged each other and cried with joy. You also quietly came to their side. They also reacted immediately. They immediately knelt on the ground. Thank you for your help. Treat the master with courtesy and music. Ask the ancestors of the immortal sect to thank the senior for his great kindness. You smiled and helped the two up. The murderous aura between heaven and earth disappeared at this moment. You looked at the current master Chu Tianxi. There was a bit of similarity between his eyebrows and yours. I think it should be the descendant of the direct relatives of the Grand Elder. Not so. I am also a member of the Seeking Immortal sect. It is reasonable for me to protect the sect. The senior is me. You puzzled. He had no idea that there was such a strong man in the sect. If he knew, he would have asked him to leave the Seeking Immortal sect even at the cost of his life. The sect would not have fallen to the point of being almost destroyed. I live in the back mountain area. It has been 5,000 years now. Time has passed. I am afraid no one knows this matter. My senior is a hermit living in the back mountain area, a strong man from the mountain realm. Liu was very surprised after hearing this. When he was young, he had heard of the previous sect master, the supreme and powerful Chu Guo. He originally thought that after thousands of years, the senior had already given up. But he didn't expect to see you today. And looking at your appearance, you are even a little similar to the current sect master Chu Tianxi. This made him completely believe in your identity. He hurriedly bowed again. It was useless. The descendants actually made the prison immortal sect weak here. Please punish me. No, I heard what you said in the asking palace just now. You have the will to protect the sect with your life. You are the real pillar of the Kaiuxian sect. What crime have you committed? As you spoke, you selected a medicine from the system store and handed it to Rio. As soon as this pill appeared, the fragrance of the pill filled the world. Elderly just smelled it and felt the spiritual power in his body surging. His cultivation increased greatly. And Chu Tianxi was even more outrageous. Just smelling the fragrance of the pill, he actually broke through a realm directly. This pill is a supreme genuine product. This thought appeared in the minds of both of them at the same time. Head. The bullet is called the Royal Spirit Pill. Elderly, you should practice speaking well. Not only can it help you recover from your injuries. Hidden injuries can be cured. It can also help you enter the Supreme Realm. After you break through the Supreme Realm, I have other plans. Thank you, Master. Miyu accepted the pill. Thank you again and again. Then you set your sights on Chu Tianxi. Although Chu Tianxi is still young, but he is born with a proud character. He is indeed worthy of the position of the leader of the Kaiuxian sect. Open them all. Pick and choose from it. The three things selected for Chu Tianxi are used as the interface. From the holy level top grade skills to the immortal art, the spiritual level top grade spiritual weapon Junshin sword, to the top grade spiritual weapon Dungeon armor, seeing the top grade spiritual weapon you casually took out, and the supreme skills, Chu Tianxi was shocked and speechless, and Liu was even more surprised. This is the supreme skills of my sect's master, the immortal art. As descendants of the later generations, they are unable to protect the relics of their ancestors, and they have always felt extremely guilty. Now that the skills have reappeared, their joy can be imagined. Then you changed your tone and began to ask elderly Liu, what happened? This caused Kaiuxiandong to fall into the current situation. Liu was quite helpless. All this originated from the imperial decree 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago, the Five Emperors Pavilion, the most powerful force in the Jinwu spirit realm, issued a decree to summon the world's strong men to go outside the western regions to resist unknown enemies. Eliminating demons and defending the way is the natural duty of cultivators. Therefore, all sects responded actively. My Kaiuxian sect was no exception. Under the leadership of the former sect master, Lord Chu Yuan, strong men came in and out, and formed a mighty army with the strong men of other sects. But no one expected that the army disappeared without a trace after the expedition. Until now, no one has returned. This should be the glory of each sect, but no one expected that some despicable people who escaped from the decree in various ways took advantage of this time to have other ideas. Speaking of this, Li Yu was indignant. The old face was full of anger. Now you also understand the reason. It has always been the strong men of each sect who entered the out, leaving the sect defense empty. So some cowards who did not participate in the expedition took advantage of this opportunity to start bullying these sects. You also became angry. These cowards did not dare to fight with the foreign enemies. Instead, they stabbed each other in the team. Since Wuta has no time to take care of them, then I will take care of them. Elderly. Which sects want to destroy my Chiuxian sect? The ancestors are Laming sect, Juxiao sect and Hualong sect. These forces were only second-rate forces thousands of years ago, relying on swallowing up my sect's resources. The source has only developed since then. Now they are all first-class forces with saints and strong men in charge. If they just swallowed up the resources, it would be fine. But what's more, they not only repeatedly attacked the strong men of our sect, but also caused countless deaths and injuries of our strong men over thousands of years. My father died of depression. It also made no genius dare to join our Kaiuxian sect. If it weren't for the timely action of the master today, the Kaiuxian sect might no longer exist. Listening to what the two said, your anger in your heart has increased again. I will visit these three major sects one by one. As for I will make them pay tenfold or 100-fold for the resources they took away. I will make them pay with their lives for killing my disciples of the Seeking Immortal sect. The first thing to do now is to wipe out the three major sects and rebuild the Seeking Immortal sect. According to the memory of 5,000 years ago, I have released my own spiritual stones and expanded it to the same sphere of influence as the peak of the Seeking Immortal sect. Now there are large and small forces stationed there, and thousands of cultivators are greedily competing for various talents. A cold light flashed in your eyes, and you shouted loudly, "Get out of here!" The battle between the heaven and earth in the forked veins was horrible. The sound waves came out of your mouth, and the self-initiated Dao Gong spread outward, turning into a whistling wind. All the large and small forces within the Seeking Immortal sect's sphere of influence, thousands of cultivators, all turned into countless meteors, pierced through the sky, and fell straight outside the Seeking Immortal sect's sphere of influence. Countless casualties and corpses were everywhere. These guys who occupied the magpie's nest also tasted the evil at this moment. From today on, no one is allowed to enter the prison Immortal sect and escape. The terrifying killing intent filled the world, making the scalps of the powerful who had survived by chance numb. They fled in panic. After driving away these forces, they looked at the broken mountain gate and prepared to rebuild it. But the first step was to make those forces and powerful people who had swallowed up countless resources of the prison Immortal sect spit out what they had eaten. At the same time, the life cards of the powerful people from the three major sects were broken one after another, which meant destruction. The plan of the Seeking Immortal sect failed. Not only did it fail, but the entire army was annihilated. What happened? Isn't there only one Huang Daijing left in the Seeking Immortal sect? How could the old guy let so many powerful people in my sect die? Go and find out what happened. The leaders of the three major sects issued the same order almost at the same time. Pairs of powerful people immediately set out and rushed to the Seeking Immortal sect as quickly as possible. They wanted to know what happened. But when they came outside the influence of the Seeking Immortal sect, they saw only big holes that were smashed one after another. Why don't they understand this? There may be an incredible strong man in the Kaiuxian sect. However, before the three major sects could find out your identity, the Kaiuxian sect issued an order to all forces in the world. The Kaiuxian order required all those who had plundered the resources of the Kaiuxian sect to return all the plundered resources to the Kaiuxian sect within 2 days, kneel every 5 steps, and buckle every 10 steps. Otherwise, they would bear the consequences. Once this news came out, it shocked the world and attracted countless strong men to discuss it. Even the lowest level cultivators in the East region knew about it. Is the Kyoxian sect crazy? Do they think that they can return to the peak with a backer? Not to mention others, even the three sects, the Liming sect, the Juxiao sect, and the Hualong sect, are now powerful masters with saints in charge. Even when the Kyoxian sect was at its peak, they did not dare to fight three alone and say such big words. All the cultivators in the world felt that the Kyoxian sect was overestimating its own strength and were ready to laugh at the Kyoxian sect. And those sects and strong men who had plundered the resources of the Kyoxian sect did not care and shouted for the Kyoxian sect. We have taken the resources of the Xian sect. If you want to take them back, come to us and take them. The Liming sect and Juxiao sect are the most arrogant. Humph, you will bear the consequences yourself. I want to see what the consequences will be. The leaders of the two major sects were dismissive and even arranged the resources looted from the Kyoxian sect neatly for the world's strong men to admire. This can be described as a naked provocation. Now the eyes of the world's cultivators are on the Kyoxian sect, wanting to see how the Kyoxian sect will respond. The reason why you have to wait for 2 days is very simple, just to let this matter ferment and attract the attention of more cultivators and forces. The more people know about this, the greater the storm will be after you destroy the three major sects. You have not been idle for 2 days. You put your main energy on strengthening the defense of the Kyoxian sect. You will temporarily leave the Kyoxian sect after 2 days. It is obvious that some cultivators will want to take advantage of this opportunity to fish in troubled waters and invade the Kyoxian sect again. And what you have prepared is just when you finished making the last piece of iron plate, the 2-day deadline has come. Today is a day with corpses everywhere. It is also the day when Kyoxian sect is famous all over the world again. You walked out of the gate of Kyoxian sect with Chu Tianxi. As soon as you left, the cultivators hiding in the void showed a cold smile. Then they used secret methods and quietly stepped into the influence of Kyoxian sect. At this time, they thought that the purpose they prepared came in handy. When they asked the palace, Li Yu naturally noticed that these families. He raised his hand with a sneer, and the outermost 9 heavens thunder formation was activated. Lightning flashed above the sky, and thunder fell in an instant. The islands boomed with explosions. After a while, those guys with bad intentions were swept away, not even a trace of ashes was left. Although this was only the outermost formation, it was enough to kill the saints. It was even easier for the strong to deal with these guys. Those who entered the prison immortal sect's territory without permission would be killed without mercy. Elder Miyu passed through the formation. Law. Reiterate the words you left behind. This time, even an idiot will understand that even if you are not here, the Kyoxian sect is not a place they can enter. The remaining cultivators dare not have any other thoughts and fled one after another. And on the other side, they have brought Chu Tianxi to the sphere of influence of the Liming sect. This is a treasure land with extremely abundant thunder power. It is called the Thunder Light Spirit Realm. The sect in the thunder is in the Tongtian Thunder Mountain in it. The top of the mountain is indeed here. Then let me see how you are going to step into my mountain gate. The winner of the thunder. Lei Xie sneered and immediately ordered people to open the sect protection formation. At this time, only infinite thunder power gathered in the mountains. Like the gravity of dragons and tigers. If you step in, you will probably be hit by thousands of thunders in an instant. Seeing this, Chu Tianxi was a little nervous. What should we do if we stumble? Of course, we should walk up the mountain. When the thunder is within reach, the fairy light on your waist is shining happily. Flying out in an instant. It hangs above your head. Blooming with boundless brilliance, turns into a beam of light and hangs down. Protecting Chu Tianxi in it.